Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Slang Hope, and I come back with another book review. And this book review is the Autobiography of Malcolm X, as told to Alex Haley. Now, how I came in contact with this book, it was somebody in jail kind of like told me to read about it. I had heard about Malcolm X, not really like that, but I heard about Malcolm X. People were talking about like, what type of person he was, his character, his conversion to Islam, the life he lived before Islam. I believe it was, I don't know, maybe one of the 5% of brothers or somebody else, from the conscious community in jail told me I should read the book. So I read it because I heard so much about him, and that's how I got the book. This is how I came in contact with the book. That's what made me read the book. Hearing about his stories and like the things that he was doing before, and like how he became Muslim, and how he performed the pilgrimage, and how he changed his life totally around, and how he became an example for so many of us trying to change and trying to do the right thing. And he kind of like showed us that it could be achievable. So I think it was, it was in my best interest to kind of like read the book, because I was trying to do something different with my life. Now the book is basically about, like I just mentioned, it's just about his life, how he went from, his upbringing, what his family household looked like with his father, his mother, how his father was killed by like the Ku Klux Klan, how it was a lot of racism and stuff going on around the time. His father used to work with like Marcus Garvey, or he was a preacher for like the Marcus Garvey movement and stuff like that. So, it's just his upbringing from his early childhood, how he grew up, how he got split up from his siblings, and how when he started working, and how he ended up moving to New York, and like he lived in Roxbury in Massachusetts, and like it just breaks down how he grew up, how he was in a life of crime, and like prostitute, like pimping, and like doing a whole bunch of stuff, like getting into like stuff in the streets, right? And him getting incarcerated, and then changing his whole life around, right? Doing a 360. So that's what the book is about. It's about his life, and it's an example for us who are trying to do the right thing. And what I got from the book was basically like, again, right, like I'm a black man trying to change. I was a black man in prison, in jail, trying to change my mindset, trying to do different things, trying to move in a different direction. And I felt like Malcolm X made that attainable. Malcolm X kind of like showed an example of the things he did, of how to do them. And I must say that like another thing I got from it, it was just like, a lot of people say that, some people will say that jail changed Malcolm X, right? Some people will even say that Elijah Muhammad changed Malcolm X. But I think people fail to realize that what really changed Malcolm X was Islam, right? It was his drive to kind of like want to better himself. His drive to kind of like want to learn. His drive to kind of like give something different, give something different. And I think that like a lot of times, like I converted to Islam when I was in jail, right? I converted, some people will say I was scared, some people will say whatever about me, but I feel like, yeah, I could say the person that the message was delivered through to reach me, I could say I can't really say it was that person. I can't really say that person is the reason, right? Because at the end of the day, the ultimate being that sent the message was the creator, right? And the creator pick and chooses how you're going to get the message, how you're going to receive the message. Like, see, me and like Malcolm, we both have to go to jail to kind of like receive the message. We both have to go to jail to kind of like be in prison, and kind of like be in that place where you kind of like self-reflect. The place where you don't have certain distractions, where you're removed from a lot of things, where you're able to be a little more receptive to information. Not saying that it always works, but you kind of like more receptive to read a book in jail or prison than like outside, right? Especially if you're doing crime on the outside. You're gonna, so I think that's what I got from it. I got that like this man was just like me in a way. He was living in darkness. And, when you live in darkness, eventually, sometimes you either die in it, or eventually you come to the light. So that's what I got from the book. I just felt like it was a good example for me. And he was a man that, had the upstanding character. And how I plan on implementing this, I just share information about Malcolm X, right? I just feel like, Martin Luther King gets a day, Malcolm X doesn't. He also gets demonized. He also gets, called all type of names, and I don't think that justice is due, or I mean, not just justice, but I don't feel like they do the due diligence when they speak about Malcolm X. So, because I feel like he was a great man. He did a lot of things. He contributed to a lot of things. And he had a great vision that he didn't get to carry out because, he was killed. His life was cut short. So, I just try to tell people that they should read it. I influence people because I know that book influenced me. And I know countless many people that read that book. And I know it can help a lot of people. And it can help them in their journeys to change. And it can help them see how, like, this man that taught himself how to read, that kind of like had issues in school, went to prison, went to jail, read, became so articulate to the point like he didn't even have to go to college. Like, this man was just brilliant, And to be able to like go through that place where they don't expect you to make it out of, they don't expect you to grow, they don't expect you to rehabilitate yourself and come home and do the great things that he did. I think that is like the greatest gift and image that we can paint to anybody who's trying to do something different. But let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure y'all go read that book. Peace.